All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Kingdom of the Kael Isles. Yes, this is one of my custom D&D games set in an increasingly crazy world that I continually question my sanity for creating. And below me are the people crazy enough to let their characters roam around in it. Just to kind of jump into everything, because we got a lot to deal with this week, let's just jump right in to it. So, recently, after returning from the Feywild and kind of somewhat dealing with an interplanar war over there, you guys found the Kael Isles were not exactly how you left them. While it had only been a few weeks for you, months and months had passed on the prime material plane. And in that time, dragons had come to retake their, what you've now found out was their ancestral homeland. So after fighting off some dragons and kind of creating a beachhead for yourself and the resistance to dragon rule, you started planning how you were going to be able to, at the very least, retake Corin's Island so you could get to the Shadowfell and eventually the Seven Heavens and Seven Hells to finally put the Dark Lady back in her position as a deity. Your first stop after sending some troops off to do some reconnaissance was to try and find Solinye, Avok's former companion and friend. And you guys discovered that her and her wood elven allies had pledged themselves to an emerald dragon. After searching through this forest with random trees made of crystal, you found the lair of the emerald dragon and had to deal with some tricks and traps, but eventually made it to an audience with the emerald dragon who had taken human form. After negotiating a little bit, he informed you that someone else had beaten you to the negotiation table, and before you was the chosen of the wise sage who challenged you to combat, and you guys kind of wiped the floor with him and his acolytes. Afterward, the Emerald Dragon said that he'd be willing to join your cause, but not as dragon muscle, but more of an advisor and strategist. And said that he would gather his forces and meet you at your camp within a week. After all of that, you guys were able to make it out of the lair without too much difficulty. And you were able to take a long rest in order to recover from everything.
Cool.
So as you all... Did I miss anything from the last session?
Solanye's coming with us.
What?
Solanye's coming.
Oh, yeah. My my original plan was that she would. No, that makes sense. Okay, so first things first, Willow. Did you make your magical tavern?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay, and would you welcome Soligny in?
Good
Sorry,
question.
cut out. I
Sorry,
have no idea what the question was.
would you welcome Soligny in for the night? Or would you have her sleep outside?
And she's certainly welcome if she's willing to come inside something that I've created magically.
Okay, she seems hesitant at first because all she sees is a doorway at first, and the rest of you kind of walk into this doorway to nothing, and she's kind of standing there next to you and goes, "What is this?"
A little taste of home. And Lil kind of opens the door, and it does feel like a warm tavern. So,
Okay. So she walks in very hesitantly and looks around. Your definition of home and mine are slightly different. However, this is a welcome sight.
because there's a little extra space that's not been defined,
Mhm.
there's an extra room that's similar to Kata's upstairs.
Okay. And I believe you can kind of remake it every time you
Oh, sure.
cast it. So you can just
I just knew
kind
there
of
was space
designate
that I
a
hadn't.
guest
Yeah.
room, I guess.
There are guest rooms, but one of them now looks like Kata's with a tree in it.
Okay. So she kind of looks around and just kind of looks at you. Should I speak to the see-through barmaid for a room?
I can show you to your room, but they can, any of them can also show you around. They can get you anything you need. Food or drink or whatever you need.
You have... Feywild was good to you. You become much more powerful than you were previously. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with that.
I like to make a note that when I enter the Magnificent Mansion, I went straight to my room, not saying a word.
Oh, okay. So, do the rest of you guys want to do anything before you kind of go to your rooms?
Yes. I quickly cast a spell, sending, using my last remaining 4th level slot. Oh wait, no, we got a long rest. Never mind. I'm going to try to contact.
You haven't had the long rest yet. You will.
Okay, all right. So then I will use a 4th level.
You taught me sending, so if you need extra, let me know.
I will say, are you doing this in the mansion or outside the mansion?
Good point.
You would know you're in a pocket dimension that counts as a different plane.
Oof, I guess I would have to do it on just before we walk in then.
Well, you can
My
just
bad.
walk out the door and walk back in. Like, it's not like the mansion disappears.
Thank you, Barbarian, for knowing my spells better than I do.
Technically, it's her spell. Oh,
No,
well.
he taught it to me.
All right, so you step outside for a smoke break.
Yep. And I'm going to try to contact the Kraken.
Really?
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Ooh, that's wow. What are you going to say?
Hey, buddy. We met you back when you destroyed that floating underwater city. Want to chat?
I'd like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, no. I can sure try.
Call up Cthulhu. No, nothing bad will happen.
22.
So as you send this spell off, the first thing you realize is you never use this spell on anything this powerful. So as you send it off and you kind of locate the target in your mind, something doesn't seem right at first, but you send the message and it almost feels like you're underwater trying to run. Like there's this resistance as you cast a spell you've never quite felt before.
Fair point. Okay.
So as you cast this spell, you feel it kind of receive, and as you wait for a response, you feel this tiny pinprick behind your eye. You kind of blink for a second, and then it explodes in the worst migraine you've ever had. You almost cry out with just the incredibly quick onset of the pain, but you hold it together as your mind is screaming, and you just get this single phrase back. How dare you?
Ow! And I like limp, stagger back and go up to the room.
Well, after the message happens, you do collapse to your knees.
Then I don't. Okay. I'm hanging out outside then.
Did you have the door open, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I mean, just stepping right outside.
Okay.
So
Well,
Willow,
then if
you
you're
would
out there
have,
for a while.
because
Yeah.
you'll take you about 10 minutes to fully recover from it. Willow, after you show Sol and Ye her room, you come down the stairs and see Fade kind of just sitting on the ground outside, looking like he's just been hit by something.
I think like a little blood maybe came out of my eye.
Are
You've got
you okay?
a single bloody tear just ran down your face, leaving a streak.
Nope, not really. Talk about it later. I need to go lay down, I think. Can you help, please?
Yes? And the tiny gnome tries to come over to help.
Just, I can't even open my eyes right now. It hurts. Just tell me which way to go. And I just kind of put my hand on your shoulder.
She starts to guide you in, grabs like a pitcher of drinks to take up with you.
That's it.
Okay. Katane, thing you want to do before you hit the hay?
No.
So as the rest of you kind of hunker down, Avok, are you in your room or where are you?
Oh, I'm in my room.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. Avok just is pacing around his room a bit. Still some pent up anger, and eventually he just like lets out a massive roar and starts like smashing everything in sight, just letting it all out.
Okay.
That to the point where the spikes do come out. I'm using a rage. It's just yeah.
So as you sit there and let the kind of rage take over, you feel the spikes erupt from your skin, and you feel the pain that you always feel, but it doesn't feel like your pain anymore. It feels distant, almost like the pain is imagined at this point. You look down, you see that spikes aren't quite as bloody as they normally are as they rip out of your skin. And as you sit there and you feel the rage consume you, you again start to feel different than your normal rages. Normally, you kind of have this center energy that radiates from your stomach and chest, that radiates into your arms and makes you stronger, into your legs and makes them more fortified. You feel your skin thicken as this energy just courses through you. And the only way to keep it from what feels like just bursting out of every opening you have is to attack things. But this time, something's different. You can feel this energy of your rage not only coming from inside you, but you feel almost like you're drawing it out of the floor. And you can feel it kind of almost draining from the air around you. But even that's not quite the right description. Almost as if some otherworldly place is feeding you this energy, and you can feel yourself getting stronger and stronger as the rage just takes over every function of your body. And as you're sitting there just destroying things in this blind rage, you don't notice the knock on your door. Avok, you're still crashing and breaking things. Hey, Avok, are you all right? More destruction, destroying things. You start destroying your bed at this point. You're so blinded and needing an outlet. And suddenly you hear your door open. And Solane walks in, and you turn to her. And you bring up one of your spiked fists and charge at her. Not really identifying who she is, just seeing something unbroken in your room. And as you charge forward, you feel something strike your stomach and your chin as she manifests her winged spear, strikes you in the gut, and then flips it up to knock you backwards. And that brief just kind of conk to your chin is enough for you to start to control yourself again. And you see Solane with this very large spear just pointing at you. Avok,
Get out! Get out!
what the hell is wrong with you?
Get out!
She throws her spear on the ground and walks out. A few seconds later, you watch the spear just kind of wisp out of existence. Anything else you wanted to do before you rest? As you look around now, the rage is more under control. You haven't lost it yet, but you don't feel driven and controlled by it anymore. As you look around your room, everything is in splinters. Your wash basin has holes in it. Your bed, the linens are ripped and torn. The stuffing is coming out of your pillow.
Avok just collapses to the floor, lays on his back, just playing back the whole conversation with the dragon in his mind. And eventually falls asleep.
So as you all wake up in the morning, Avok, you feel slightly weaker than normal, like you've had a really rough workout the day before, but not too worse for wear.
Right.
The rest of you wake up. Fade. When you wake up, you notice slight bit of dry blood at the bottom of your nostrils, and your head still slightly ringing, but not bad. Just like a really mild hangover.
Willow brings a wet cloth over and kind of tries to dab at that. Not sure where it came from. Not sure what happened yet, but just okay.
Thanks, Willow. I tried to do something, and it didn't go how I wanted it to.
I mean, I gathered that much.
Oh God. Oh. So yeah, giant beings that can destroy cities. Don't try to talk to them with that thing that does talkie spell that we just did. Oh God.
Giant beings that destroy cities?
Yeah. So and then I reach into the bag of holding on the table and I pull out a jar, which has the putrefied remains of the tip of a kraken tentacle.
I forgot Reed still had that.
Willow
See, because Elaine had it. Because I gave all my shit away, but Elaine had it for a while. So I took it back the last time we saw her. But so this guy, well, gross. Put it back in. There was a thing that was like a lot bigger than the dragon, like even Elaine's dragon. It was huge and underwater, and it destroyed a dwarven city full of amazing technology that we didn't even get to really experience at all.
except for the map you brought.
I mean, that was cool, right? It moves. That's pretty good.
It is pretty cool.
But yeah, I tried to talk to that thing because I mean, we're looking for allies to turn the tide and stuff, and we're going to an island. And I thought maybe, hey, the thing that could rip the island down in a pinch might be good. It wasn't.
Do I know what this thing is? Like, have you guys told me about it before? Okay.
Roll a religion check.
Okay. $12.
So, thinking back to kind of your studies as a wizard, and one of the books that you kind of glanced through as you were under the Gaius spell was a book about a book. Try that again. It was a book about warlocks and their patrons, and you remember reading about a patrons some warlocks contacted that was this ancient primordial creature beyond the realm of understanding, and it was described a lot of different sorry described a lot of different ways, but one of the ways that as you saw this putrefied piece of a tentacle, you remember a description of a massive being that lived in the depths beyond mortal exploration, so deep it touched not only a different plane, but a different area of existence. And because of that, it had been transformed permanently into this creature of tentacles and teeth. And the mere sight of it could cause people to go insane. That's the only thing you could think of that might be similar to this. But obviously, Fade saw it. And while, yes, he is kind of crazy,
Sure.
he's not the complete detachment from reality that was described.
Sure. Sorry, going back to. Go ahead.
We should go make sure Sonya hasn't killed anyone.
That's probably.
Oh, God.
I mean, I did put a tree in his room. Maybe that helped. I don't know.
Yeah, trees really calmed me down.
Well, they do for Kata. I don't know. I'm trying. She doesn't like me very much, and I don't know what to do with that.
Trust me, she hasn't liked me since the moment I met her. I get it. Let's go get our boy.
Okay.
Make way over to Avox, see if he's up.
Okay. Avok, you're awake. Haven't left your room yet. You do hear some movement outside your room that kind of tells you other people are awake and walking around.
Ava gets up and exits his room.
Yo, dude, you're pretty loud yesterday. You good?
Fade, as you see Avok walk out, he almost looks like he was in a fight a couple days ago. Not like the fights you guys deal with where people are getting almost killed, but you can almost see like a black eye healing, and it's a look you've never quite seen Avok have.
Dude, did you get in a fight with your pillow and lose?
Ava doesn't say anything and just walks past Fade.
Look at Will. What the hell's his deal now? Thought he'd be happy he found his girlfriend.
I don't know. I mean, he's usually not in a great mood, but that's worse than normal.
Yeah, that's actually worse than when we had to kill his brother. Again.
What?
Yeah, that happened too. It's been a rough year, babe.
Do I hear that?
Probably.
I wasn't whispering. I just waited till you walked past.
Yeah, I was about to ask. You
right.
probably would have heard like the remnants of it as you were walking downstairs. So go ahead and just roll me a or what's your passive perception?
I think it is 16.
Okay. So you do hear him reference your brother, but you're far enough away you don't hear the rest of the sentence. But you kind of pick up on the brother line.
No, yeah, the moment I hear it, I stop for like a couple seconds, and then I'm going downstairs, right?
That's where I assumed you were going. There's not really anywhere else to go up here.
Well,
Okay.
We
What?
have our own breakfast spot upstairs. So, I mean, unless you didn't want to eat with us, that's normally where we've been eating.
Yeah, layout-wise, you guys have kind of a common area where all your rooms connect, where you normally
Right.
eat breakfast, but you have the tavern downstairs where you can eat as well. So I assume you just didn't want to be near them.
Right. So yeah, I hear that just as I'm walking downstairs, and the moment I hear the brother line, I stop for a couple seconds, and then punch a hole through the railing
Okay.
and continue onwards.
Willow, you hear a cracking sound, which is actually kind of impressive because the railing you designed is not, just balsa wood or anything. This is like heavy oak, elaborately carved.
Yes.
Can't resist the temptation to turn to a cat again and just hide.
Yeah, Willow winces, sends a couple of specters over to start fixing it, a couple more to go to his room because she assumes that looks just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else to just bring him a cask of ale if he wants it. And then looks at Fade and says, normally I think the ale would help. I don't know that it's going to help this time. What do we do? I don't even know what's wrong. I don't think you'd tell me.
Yeah. Tell you what.
Go ahead.
Like, our whole, I guess I never even realized, but his whole world has been just as fucked as mine. In, the same amount of time.
Yes.
I never really thought of him as having feelings before, other than rage.
I face faulted this.
Never sounded more like an Eladrin. But okay, go on.
Is my legend showing? Damn.
A little bit.
As you
Little bit,
say
yeah.
that, you guys hear a door open and Solyane walks out. Willow, what's your passive perception?
A 12.
12. Okay, you wouldn't. Fade, what's yours?
20.
Okay. You would notice her eyes are slightly puffy. And she just looks at you, goes, I hope it's not too much to ask for a meal.
Not at all. And 4 specters start coming over with plates, and Willow doesn't know what to do, so there's lots of food.
Okay. So she just kind of walks over and sits down as one of your specters comes and brings an extra chair over since your common room is built for 4.
Right.
And she kind of sits down and just starts making a plate of fresh fruits and meats and things like that. And just starts kind of tentatively eating as she just keeps looking around. You do notice before she bites anything, she'll kind of sniff it, taste it, and then very tentatively take a small bite, chew it, swallow, and then just kind of wait for a second. And when nothing happens, she starts eating.
I'm there, right?
You would have been in your room. You could have come out at any point during the conversation. So, if you want to be there now,
Yeah.
sure. So you see
So
start tentatively eating.
looking at what, knowing how sensitive, for lack of a better term, that she was, and the yelling I heard, she heard last night, would I be able to put those two together?
I mean, kind of. Soligny, the Soligny has always been a very kind of Amazonian, very tough warrior woman kind of person. So you haven't really seen her soft side. And the few interactions you had since being back, she's even more standoffish, more kind of calloused since becoming a dragon knight, from what you can see. However, what's your passive perception?
18.
Okay. So yeah, you would notice just the slightest bit of puffiness around her eyes.
He yelled at her.
Really? He didn't say anything to us.
What? Did you hear the yelling last night?
No. I still can't really hear or see anything very well.
As
What
Solomon
happened?
kind of turns to you and goes, "Was a misunderstanding. That was all. It's over, done with. I'd appreciate any conjecture to stop there." You see her kind of get up and dust herself off. "Thank you for the meal. I will be waiting outside for when you're ready to embark." And she walks down the stairs.
Did I say something wrong?
I don't think you did, Kael. And she kind of will pat her on the back. We gotta fix this before we go.
I hope they do.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go downstairs.
As you come downstairs, Avok, when you came downstairs, you saw a spectral figure silently come up and put ale in front of you and a lot of meat and bread, and then walk away.
Yeah, I quickly ate and drank and then just exited.
Okay. So Willow, but by the time you come downstairs, you can see the spectral figures kind of cleaning up where Avok ate. And you can see the door is just slightly ajar.
And Solomnia has also left now.
She gets to the door right as you come down, and you watch her walk out, or right as you come to the top of the stairs.
Realizing that Avok's already left, she just sends a message back upstairs to Fade. "Well, it's gonna be a day. He's not here. We should go outside and find him now."
Hey, Avok, as you go outside, what are you doing outside? Are you
Where
starting?
exactly are we?
You're just outside the lair in the emerald or the crystal forest. So there's trees. There's a few crystalline trees around you. It's a relatively heavily wooded area.
Gotcha. Yeah, Ava's just gonna stand and wait for everyone.
Okay.
I cast another spell and then hurry down to meet up with Kat and Willow.
Okay.
Willow downs a drink as they exit.
So Avok, the first person you see come out of the door is Solonier, who looks at you, does an about face, and walks around the door and in the opposite direction to where you are.
Avok's not moving. It's not really paying her much mind.
Okay. Soon after, you see Will, Willow, Kata, and Fade come out. You guys see Avok just kind of standing there, leaning against a crystalline tree.
So I kind of look at, wait till we get all kind of in range to just speak quietly so we don't set off these crazy trees. So we're kind of ahead of schedule. Do we want to keep going or do we want to head back and report in? Because I wasn't even supposed to check in for a couple days.
I think the dungeon master wasn't expecting you to use wind walking.
I did prepare it.
You're the winner.
Awesome.
You do know back at base camp there are things you guys can do. Fade, you can work on your gauntlet. Willow, you can work on your glasses. Technically they're still fortifying the position, so you guys can help with that or speak with anyone that's there.
Out of character, does Willow have Dispel Magic? Is that a thing that she's learned yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm going to check that list, but I'm fairly positive no.
It's fine. Fade has made some mistakes in the last day or two, and he is going to just cast Dispel Magic on himself, just in case there's any tracking going on. Hopefully that will maybe clear that, so I'm going to blow another spell.
Okay. Roll me a magic attack roll.
Sure, why not? 26.
Nice.
Okay. So as you sit there and you focus on just kind of sensing the magic of affecting you and trying to sever and stop any effects that you don't want there, you get this strange feeling as if you swung at a tree with an axe and went through it, as if you just randomly disconnected.
So a strange feeling.
So you had this strange feeling like you'd just taken an axe and swung at a tree and then gone straight through it, as if it was an illusion.
Oh God, everything is horrible.
However, you do, from just the residual effect of casting Dispel Magic, you do feel different. You can't really describe how, but something is different.
Did you say that out loud? Or was that just Mike?
Internal monologue.
I am experimenting with new magics lately, thanks to my little gnomish partner in crime, and I think I'm going to be very vocal with everything that happens magically now. So I will relay all my feelings, as abstract as they may be.
So, Fade has entered his experimental phase. Not uncommon for an elf
But you
of
are
his
already
age.
in man's experimental phase. That's Fade's entire character.
I mean, I've seen that spell done. I haven't used it, but I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Right. Yeah, that's not like a thing that normally happens.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, so there's that situation. There's this situation. She just kind of waves her hand towards Avok. There's the one over there, and waves towards Solney. Turns, looks at Kata. Are you okay?
A little shaken, but okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so there's all right. We got something. Okay. I don't know how to solve the magic thing. That doesn't make sense.
I know, right?
You are here, and she like puts her hand on your arm just
As you
to
do,
be sure.
you go straight through. No, I'm kidding.
Mm.
And then as you're flying back, you swear you see something on the wing.
This whole time I'm talking to Willow about this
That's
magic
reference
crap.
older than I am.
Older
I'm
than all
looking at
this.
Avok the whole time. That realization that Fade had is like legit. Like he's like, oh, he's like an actual person. He's not just mindless monster. So I'm actually kind of worried about him. And with that thought, I'm saying maybe we're not mentally prepared to go further right now. Let's go home. Kata, can you get us to do the fly thing again?
You got it. One more.
We should make sure Solney
Oh yeah, that's right.
all that work first.
Quick teaching montage for the next minute while Kata gets ready to cast her spell.
And while that happens, Willow kind of looks up at Avok.
Are we leaving yet?
Yeah, I think we're going to be wind again for a little bit. So there's going to be a lot of time where none of us will be bothering you, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing right now. I don't think you want to talk about whatever's going on, but if you do, we're all here for you.
I just want to get away from here. That's all.
Okay.
As you say that, you watch as Solonye comes back. So are we leaving then? I know a safe pathway out of here, and I can lead us the fastest way back to your base camp.
Won't be necessary. We have other means. Avok walks off.
Oh. Willow helped me make a shrine to the Dark Lady, didn't she? In her house back near base camp. Kata, hold on to your spell real quick. Ava, come here.
So
I high five everybody and word of recall us back instantly.
Okay. So, Fade randomly turns into a bro for about a minute. He's going around going, up high.
Yes, let's do this. Let's do
down
this.
low, fist bump, explosion. And as he goes, explosion, you guys feel as if you've been sucked through a very small opening. You see kind of chaos around you, and then suddenly you're in a different place. Fate is, as it happens, as you come back to your senses, you suddenly feel something cold and sharp against your throat. As you see Solinye just looking around. What the hell was that? Oh.
Jesus Christ.
She kind of puts the spear down. Sorry. Wasn't quite expecting that. Perhaps next time you give me some sort of warning.
Sure. I look at Avok to see if he's okay with me saying sure to Solonye.
Avok's not even paying attention.
Okay.
As Solonye looks down, where are we? Where
We can't
exactly
tell you that.
Are you in the base camp, or where was this shrine? I've forgotten.
I'm pretty sure this was in like the mountain
Oh, okay. So you guys
side, the muse room.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you guys are technically about 6 hour ish journey from the base
6
camp.
hours?
Not maybe it's just a couple hours. It's not
Yeah.
right in the base camp though.
No.
Now Kata gets to save the day.
Okay. Hold on, Sonia.
As
We're
you
about to make the journey even quicker.
as you kind of look around, or as she's kind of looking around, you see her eyes start to grow wide. She goes, "Can't believe you found it.
How do you even know what this is?
I work for someone that collects information. He's been looking for this for a very long time."
Fuck.
Then you know who I am,
Well,
apart from who you knew.
I gave him the information, but he never quite explained it to me. There's a lot that I know, but I don't. He... Part of being his champion changed how I learned things. I can remember things much better than I could before. However, just because I remember it doesn't mean I understand it.
I understand what you mean.
And you watch her just kind of spin around very slowly, and she kind of looks like she's actually writing in the air and talking to herself. And she's just kind of taking in this entire place.
I mean, this is a private area. I don't know if you should be doing that.
Sorry, I don't consciously do it. It's just, think of it as a nervous tick. Let's get out of here.
More like tightening the chain around your neck.
Hey, Rock!
And she just looks at you with a look so cold and with so much betrayal in it. You can almost feel the knife plunge into your heart, ice cold. And you watch as kind of an explosion of energy happens from her, and you watch as her armor turns emerald green and wings sprout from her back, and she flies out.
Whatever.
So, can I like start to walk out to see if everyone's gonna follow?
Sure.
And then, unless somebody does anything else, I want to kind of like, oh, this is a bad idea. I'm gonna put my hand on Avok's shoulder and just say, hang on a sec, dude.
Willow. Go ahead.
I'm gonna wait to see if Cotton and Willow keep walking, like if they leave.
Here's you two see Fade start walking. Do you follow him?
Willow pauses and puts on her goggles and just kind of glances towards Avok before leaving, and I want to know what's motivating him right now and how best to influence him.
Okay. That's a question for Avok. If you want to just whisper it to me, there's something different about you right now.
I don't need to whisper. Right now, motivations for Avok is... let's see.
Well, it's not a secretive thing. There's something you don't know about right now that's going to change how Willow observes it.
Okay. So, wait.
Do you know how to whisper in Roll 20?
Yeah, I do. I'm whispering to you.
Yep, so just /W and then Jody or trainer. It should bring up my name pretty quick.
I got it. So just okay. Pretty much what's affecting my behavior right now.
Just your strongest motivation is what she learns. So what is the prime thing that's motivating you to kind of just keep going with whatever you're doing right now in this very moment?
God.
As you start trying to think that, Willow, as you sit there and observe him, something is wrong, and you at first you think it's the goggles, because as you're looking, you've used this quite a bit actually since you've been getting used to it. You've been using it just on random people just to become more comfortable. And as you look at Avok, normally it's almost like you can see into their soul and kind of glean information. But as you look at Avok, he looks different. There's almost, as you look at him with the, I think it was a sapphire lens is the one you're using?
Cerulean, but yeah.
Cerulean, thank you. This cerulean lens, it's almost as if he has like an aura around him. Almost like a, what's it called? A camera?
Flare, like a lens flare.
Yeah, lens flare around him. As you try to concentrate harder, you're not getting what you normally do. You can read body language and things like that. He's obviously angry.
She just kind of, her mouth kind of tightens, and she continues walking past, and then when she's out of line of sight, she messages Fade and says, "There's something more to this."
Okay. So you're kind of peeping him, and I kind of stop him for a second. He says, "What?" And I'm like, "So, see, I hate to say this like so lighthearted, but Fade's just so fucking random. So I know that like we've been through a lot recently, and I just wanted to let you know that like, thank you. You've kept us alive so many times, and I want you to know that like I care about you a lot, and whatever this is, like I got you. Let me know what you need." And then I cast the spell magic at 4th level on Avok.
Okay.
But I do it real sneaky with the back of my hand.
Go ahead and
behind
make
him.
me a sleight of hand check. Avok, what's your passive perception again?
16.
16. Okay.
I natural one that.
Gotcha. So Avok, you see him there, and then he tries to very casually trace some sigils in the air, and you obviously see him casting a spell, and you actually recognize it because he's used it so often. He's casting dispel magic, which Fade as you cast it. There's like it's kind of like you just cast it on a rock. Nothing happens.
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad you got that out of your system.
Something's not right here, bud.
Let me put it this way to you. When all this is over, I want that Emerald Dragon's fucking head. And then Avok walks off.
I look at Kata and I look at Willow and just like, and then I message both of them individually. Let's not say that out loud again, because I'm pretty sure that dragon can just see and hear whatever the fuck it wants. So like, and then I'll follow Avok out.
What?
Willow just kind of takes Kata's arm and keeps her going.
By the way, that was the last of my 6th level slot. Thanks, guys.
Well, before you
You didn't cast it yet.
cast the spell, he would have done the word of recall, so you haven't cast it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you guys would be farts in there. So you still have that. And as you guys get out, walking at a decent pace, you can be at the camp in less than an hour. It's just kind of winding. It's in the hills and mountainous region. It's hidden pretty well. And I don't know, Willow, if you've added any extra additional ways to hide it or not. But you could if you would like.
I thought it was through an invisible wall.
It is.
Okay.
But being an arcane caster, you have a fair amount of things at your disposal if you wanted to make it more difficult for people to accidentally stumble upon.
I can't think of any specific spells I have that would do that at the moment.
Okay. Just putting it out there.
Sure.
So, unless you guys have anything else, you make it back to camp. Soligny is already there. You can see her kind of arguing with a few Eladrin guards from the Feywild who have these relatively wicked-looking glaives kind of pointed at her because she arrived a little before you did because she flew.
She with us, guys.
And as you say that, the prince consort comes over. I was expecting... Well, to be honest, I'm not sure what I was expecting, but having Dragon Knight just fly into camp wasn't it.
That's on me. I could have let you know. Sorry about that.
Yes, going forward, if you get any more allies, we'd sincerely appreciate it if they either came with you or came with a note pinned to their shirts. Anything.
Yeah, thanks for not killing her. That's helpful.
Well, Dragon Knight's a tricky business.
I mean,
And she didn't kill us immediately, so we figured it was worth waiting a few moments to see what happened. However, a few of our spell snipers did have her targeted.
I real quickly message him and say, please keep a close eye on her. We think she's an ally, but who knows?
And he doesn't even respond. He just looks at you and gives you an almost imperceptible nod.
And then I am going to say, I need to go talk to my special friend.
Certainly. We'll have quarters for her made. You're back somewhat early. I'm assuming with your friend here, things went well?
Mm-hmm.
And does this mean we
went.
have a new ally?
Fine.
We have a tentative alliance with a possible tactician.
Lovely. I adore working with dragons. They're not arrogant or condescending at all. You watch him wander off. Oh, before I go, once you're all settled in again, meet me at the war room. I'll discuss the improvements to our fortifications, and with someone you need to meet, or rather, meet me in 15. All right, bring your friends, and the new one if you would like.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do PC.
Willow keeps just trying to like not stare at Avok, but stare at Avok, and just doesn't.
Mhm.
And like put the goggle on, and then take them off, and isn't sure, and looks around, not sure what to do with the situation.
Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Fade sees this and starts to feel insecure and thinks he should hit the gym.
Well, that was
Depends
very
on how
hard.
good her stealth check is, but
No, it's
passive
very,
perception of 20.
very bad. It's
Good.
a 2. I don't think it was meant to be subtle. She's honestly like putting goggles on, looking at him, looking at other people, making sure that there's like a reason. Yes, exactly.
Avok, you notice you have an admirer.
All right. Ava turns and looks at Willow for a few seconds, pretty much with the "you better stop" look.
If looks could kill Willow,
And she looks at him and raises an eyebrow. If you're not
Avok,
going to explain it, I have to try and figure out what's wrong.
Willow is just giving you the people's eyebrow.
Go! Hype!
Okay.
You're just waiting to see if you can smell what the Willow is cooking.
Yes! Oh, catchphrase.
All Avok will say to her is later, and just walks off on his own.
As you walk off, you actually notice not only are there more troops here than before, but they're the area that you guys control has expanded, and there's now a training area where you can see not only a Ladrin, but you can see a few Genasi there as well. You see humans, and they're all sitting there with wooden weapons, going through training drills and things like that. And one of the men sees you kind of just walking around, and he comes over. He's a very large chested man, currently with his shirt off and wrappings around his wrist and hands, carrying a wooden great sword. And he comes over and goes, "Mr. Avok,
What do you want?
well, we're currently training the new recruits in, let's call it, unconventional combat. And we've been told you're a bit of an expert on that. Wondering if you'd be willing to give us a few lessons, brawl with a few of us, give us some real world experience."
Ava looks at him, looks at all the other troops who are in
Listen,
training.
Entirely up to you, but that would definitely help us to be a wee bit more combat ready. I've taught them the basics of combat, but I can't seem to drum it into their head that if they sit there focusing on form and correct foot placement and things like that, and ignore the fact that someone's trying to kill them, they're not going to follow the finer rules of combat. having someone a bit more used to getting into the nitty gritty of it might just shock them into learning.
Why not?
Okay. So as you walk over, he turns to you. By the way, the name's Colin. He comes over. Listen up, Zayok. If he wanted to, he could behead every single one of you, then sit down for tea. Which one of you is brave enough to get into the ring with him? And this kind of cocky looking kid, relatively well built, but not nearly the muscle mass that you have, sits there with a wooden katana. He goes, well, I guess I could allow him to teach me a thing or two. And he spins the katana a couple times, brings it down to a fighting stance.
Alright. Avok puts his axe to the ground.
Colin
Alright.
brings you over a wooden axe. We don't want you to kill him quite yet.
It's okay. He's not gonna die today. Okay, kid. Prove to me that you're worth a damn.
All right. And he sits there and he places the katana on his hip as if it was in a scabbard and gets down into a ready stance and just kind of and you can see just the slightest smirk. What would you like to do?
If you insist. Avok's gonna leap towards him and come down with a forward slash.
Okay. As you get close, having seen this fighting style before, you know that he's going to draw it and attempt to maim you if it was a real weapon as you come down. So I need you to make a dex save to dodge it. And since you're kind of aware of it, roll it with advantage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I usually would have. Yeah. I would have advantage on dex saves anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a dirty 20.
Okay. So as you sit there and you see the slash, you actually timed your jump to kind of slow yourself in the air so it looked like you were coming slightly faster than you did. The blade just goes right in front of you. Make your attack roll.
Can I actually change that little flavor? Can I say the blade does connect with my axe, but I break through it?
Sure. I'll need a strength athletics to break through it, though.
Yeah, no problem. That's a 28.
Yeah. So as it sits there and it comes up, you just smash through the blade. It follows through, connects with him, and you hear a cracking sound as you impact his clavicle and snap it. He's driven down to his knees. He lets out a cry of pain, and you see anger in his eye as he takes the broken part of the katana and tries to thrust it at you with the arm that still has a clavicle attached to it. It's going to make a roll with disadvantage. might help if I had my dice. 16 versus your armor class.
Yeah, no, this is.
Oh, misses? Okay. So he sits there and he thrusts in. How do you want him to miss?
Oh, I
You just see
grabbed
the
the hand. I
thrust.
grabbed that wrist.
Okay. So as you grab it, you kind of twist. His arm goes in an awkward position. You watch him drop the bokin, the wooden katana. And he's just looking at you. And he tries to bring his other arm around to hit you. But because the clavicle's not there, he can't get any strength behind it. And it ends up just kind of brushing against your shoulder. You see him just sitting there and he spits on you. That was a cheap move. If I had my real blade, that wouldn't have happened.
You'd still be dead. It's because you think you're all that. Well, guess what? We live in a world where we're all shit amongst gods. Now you need to do one thing about that. Prove that gods are the real shit. Are shit. Understand?
And you let go of his wrist. Because you still have him kind of in a death grip on his wrist.
Oh yeah, I let go.
So he sits there and he falls down. You see one of the medics come over, just go, I knew you were going to hurt yourself. Now we've got to spend the time fixing your damn collarbone. And she kind of picks him up and tries to tries to get him off. You see the rest of the group kind of looking at you, and finally one of the smaller one goes, so how are we supposed to defend against that? He broke his damn sword. His form was perfect.
It's not about form. Be mindful of everything around you. Use everything to your advantage. And Avok walks off.
They seem slightly demoralized, but ready to learn.
Yeah, Avok walks up to Colin, was it?
Mm-hmm. I was intrigued expecting that, but how the desired effect?
I think I whipped him up for you. Have fun.
Use well. The rest of you, did you watch that? Did you go off to do other things?
I watched that. I kind of hoping it felt a little better.
Physical activity, that's for sure.
Yeah, because God knows he would have easily killed the guy.
Fade, Willow, what are you do?
I would have ran off to find my quasi-god.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Willow stayed to watch.
Okay. So Fade, as you kind of wander around, you eventually come to the first aid tent thing, and you see the dark lady kind of dealing with people, and you're probably the only person that sees it. When she thinks no one's looking, you watch her just put her hand on one of the posts and just kind of lean into it, looking like she's about to fall over. But as soon as you notice it, that's past, and she's back to herself, and she then sees you and kind of looks over to the opening at the back of the tent and wanders over there and walks out.
I go out the front door and meet her around back.
Okay. So as you're there, you can see she's found a rock to just kind of sit down on. She goes, "My chosen. It's good for you to be back, but to be honest, you were worrying me."
I apologize. I'm just trying to get to secure passage back to your throne.
Well, perhaps next time before you contact something so powerful, you might ask for my guidance first, maybe even my aid. And she kind of looks you in the face and kind of motions for you to come closer.
Very sheepishly, I do.
It has damaged you rather profoundly. But it should heal eventually. Just try not to do it again.
So something's wrong. So when we came back from that place just now, something's up. I don't know what it is, and I just described what I felt when I was blindly trying to dispel magic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
See if she has any hot takes on it.
And you see her brow furrow a little bit. She goes, and she reaches a hand up to place it on your forehead, and then you watch her eyes roll back, and she starts to faint.
I for sure try to catch her.
Okay, no problem. She is a relatively small woman compared to you. And she kind of gets up. "I'm sorry. I haven't taken mortal form in so long. I haven't been able to sleep in days."
Tears start to well up as she's saying this.
"I'm fine. I'm simply going to return to my tent and lie down. I just need some rest."
Is there anything that I can do to make it better at all?
"I'm fine. I'm just tired. Focus on your goal. We must get to my throne in Elysium.
If there's a
longer I'm away, the more the laws of death unravel. Bad things will start to happen."
I understand, and we are going to head back out as soon as we can. I'm going to get everybody ready soon. If there's a point that you think we need to just go, just say it. And even if it's just us, we'll go. We'll try.
We have not reached that point yet. And then she kind of looks at you strangely. "You carry something. Something that does not belong to you."
What now?
You've met another chosen.
Oh yeah, another one. Here, I pull out the shards or the
She backs away. I
things.
cannot touch that. But it is important that you took it. When the Smith of the Gods returns, give him that. He will know what to do with it.
I secure it better than it was secured before, and agree to do so.
Then she kind of gets up a little unsteady as you kind of reach out to help her. She just kind of waves you away, straightens up, and walks out completely in control.
Okay.
So do you return to where Cotton Willow are? Or
I go
about
find.
10-ish minutes have passed, so you probably be suspected at the.
Yeah, on my way over, I'm gonna send a couple messages real quick to Prince Consort and be like, "Look, like this Emerald Dragon thing, it looks like it worked out, but I don't trust it. This is all telepathic."
Mhm.
Cast it a couple times on the walk over, so like I said, keep an eye on this Dragon Knight. I mean, hopefully it's a true ally, but that dragon seems like plans within plans kind of thing.
And you get a single word back. Understood.
That's it, and I'll double time it over to where Avok was training.
So you get back just in time to see Avok walking away and a man being carried away by a significantly shorter woman. And it's obvious to you his clavicle's broken since he's not wearing a shirt. Like you just see this weird dip where his collarbone's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, as Avok's walking past, what did you hit him with?
Piece of wood. Avok just walks on.
Mm-hmm.
Willow catches up to him, and her mouth is just in this very tight line of like doesn't know what to do with her face right now. Yeah, so it's not good. But I think we have a meeting, so I guess, okay.
Maybe we need to keep him busy. Let's
I don't even know.
No, there's I don't think there's knowing with him right now. This is the first break he's had. I've been doing it for a while now, and it's never good. I think he's gonna.
He said something about the world being shit and showing the gods that they were shit. So, just so you're aware, he's not in a good place.
Be right back. I run to the Dark Lady's tent and cast Death Ward on her with a 5th level slot because Avok just told the entire camp to kill a god, and then I'm going to come back.
Do know her true identity. Her true identity is a secret that you guys and the Prince Consort and the other kind of commanders you dealt with, you're the only ones that know.
It's fine. God, girlfriend, self. Don't worry about that. And then I run back and find Cotton Willow and just kind of sit down, like I cross-legged, just kind of sit down. Well, ladies, what are we gonna do? I don't think Avok's in the decision-making business at the moment.
Nope.
We've got our scouts out still. Aramis hasn't come back yet.
Probably because we come back early.
Yep.
You get a twinge in your head as you hear, "Are you coming?"
Oh,
Just fade.
What?
Sounds like the Prince Consort.
New phone. Who this?
It's a Prince Consort.
I look at Willow and Cotton and be like, we got the meeting in the war hall,
Right.
with our PC friend. I wonder if he has a name. If he does, I don't remember it. I don't even remember God Empress's lady's name.
Oh, I have it written down.
Hmm.
I have it somewhere, but Faye doesn't want to look. Um,
I have it written down as swell.
her name is Esmiel. His name was
Stallion.
But let's go. Let's go into the planning meeting. Let's see what we can do. Get an update from everything.
Do we have any thoughts going into this of where we want to go?
I want to streamline this. I'm less concerned with getting more allies. I thought we would have more time, but I think sooner's better. Like sooner's better.
Mhm.
So either maybe one more good. Hope I guess we got a tactician with minimal forces because Dragon doesn't want to help. So maybe we need actual forces. I know we were talking about maybe dealing with that red dragon on Draconis. I mean, we know people there now. Maybe we can find out some stuff. But they weren't keen on helping anyone else last time, so I don't know.
Mhm.
What about your Black Sail Captain guy? Willow, he seemed to take... Wait a second. He seemed to take a liking to you. You have an old boyfriend you want to talk to?
I would not call him that. Thank you.
It's always bad when you have to ask your ex for help.
I mean, we could, though. I think he just liked the fact that I can make drinks. I don't know if that means he wants to go to war for me.
I mean, I would. I don't know about him.
I mean, you get more than drinks, so it's a fair trade-off.
So, I mean, our initial thoughts were Emerald Dragon, Wood Elves, which, quote-unquote, done. Black Dragon with the Black Sail, which is El Capitan. Hopefully trade routes will help supply our guys better. What's left of the Eladrin, which I hate and don't really want to, are set up in Ordinier. Apparently there's we could use more recon, but I don't know if that's something we want to do. I guess we could get there and back pretty quick, though. I look over at Kata. Some crazy nature magic stuff going on these days. But, God, is it worth attacking someone? And at this point, I'm gonna wait. At this point, I'll wait till we get into the tent. Is Soligny in there? I'm not sure if I want her in there.
As you walk in, you see Prince Dalian there. You notice the room is darker than you think it should be. You find that odd.
Do we have any way to stop scrying, like any anti-scrying stuff?
This.
Hey, Willow, do you have a spell for that?
I do indeed.
I think this is the perfect time to bring that to shine.
Yep. Alright, so she spends a few minutes and starts casting the private sanctum around their entire place.
Okay.
Nice.
No one can see in.
And at first, Dalian looks at her quizzically, then instantly realizes what she's doing and just sits there waiting.
Takes 10 minutes.
Okay.
But it lasts for 24 hours. So
After that's done, good idea. Now, we have expanded the territory of our base camp, and we've set up, and he brings out a map of it, and kind of points. We've set up towers here, 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 and here, with snipers. They will act as an early warning and can take out quite a few enemies before they get close enough to answer with their own abilities. However, as we've fortified, we got an unexpected guest. And fade, the shadows near you start to flicker and change. And stunningly, standing next to you is an Eladrin with a scar across his left eye, jet black hair, wearing dark clothing with a symbol of a dark lady on it. And he turns to you and says, "We meet again, and you're not dead yet."
Fist bump. Does he give it? Blow it up. Boom. My dude.
You caused quite a commotion when you left.
I don't want to do these things. We're not trying to fuck things up. This is what I don't. Yeah, sorry if you had to deal with that.
You want to do that?
Well, just say the Verdant Empire will have, the citizens of the Verdant Empire will have quite a bit to gossip about for years. However, I come with slightly different business. Men?
Good.
And you watch as the rest of the shadows around start to shimmer and flicker, and you see about half a dozen Eladrin walk out of these shadows, faces concealed with masks. Each one holds up their left hand, and emblazoned on their glove is a symbol of the Dark Lady. And they all kneel down. These are the Order of the Dark Lady's Shadow. We have a very specific set of skills, and they're currently at your command, as am I. So from your command table, you now have a small group of assassins and an assassin commander you can send off.
Do they go together, or can they be split?
They can be split. They work best together. Some more difficult things you would want to keep them together. More simple things, they can go off. And he kind of fills you in. Their specialty is ending conflict by removing key individuals, but they also can sow chaos and things like that to destabilize cities and that. But it's all kind of done using the same methodology. You remove the right person, and then what you want to happen happens.
Quick question. The old empire of Eladrin, was there a dragon, quote-unquote, ruler with them? I didn't have one written down.
You mean the Kael Isles?
Yeah.
No.
Or the ones up in Ordnier.
Good question. To your knowledge, you were not told they were pledged to a dragon. However, there are dragons there. They seem to be fighting against them.
Okay.
But knowing your people, they wouldn't do well having to pledge fealty to a dragon.
Okay.
You're fairly certain they'd die before they do that, or at least the higher ups and the proud ones. There's always people in a population that'll sell themselves to save themselves.
I'm going to ask one of these shadow dudes to go find Avok and make sure he gets in here, because I don't think he came in with us.
Okay. And he kind of nods, and you watch him just kind of fade into the shadows again.
Ask him, please. Don't tell him.
Avok, as you're wandering around, you suddenly feel a tap on your shoulder. And as you turn around, you see an Eladrin dressed in all black, on his knee, kind of bowing, saying, "Sir, your presence is requested at the war table."
Right. Coming.
After you say that, you watch as Aether tells the rest of his men, "You can wait outside." And you notice the room gets slightly brighter as they leave. A few moments later, Avok walks in. Avok, you recognize Aether from kind of saving you guys back in the Verdant Empire.
So,
Well, partner, decision time. Just wanted to know if you wanted to have any input here. Got a couple places to go, a couple things to do. I know we already talked about it. Do you have any thoughts, or you want to just come along, kill shit? I value your opinion.
Prince Dalian speaks up. Before we make decisions, perhaps we should wait for the other commanders to return. There's a good chance that they could enlighten us and give us a better idea of where we want to go next.
Just
Okay.
hold up till Aramis.
We have Aramis and a serrated death have both been sent off. Originally, they were supposed to be back in another 3 weeks. However, Dalian has mentioned that they were ahead of schedule too, and roughly about half a week away from returning. Last time they checked in.
So I guess we wait.
Hey, look, Prince Dalian turns to you. I heard you did some training a few minutes ago. Apparently, Colin was rather impressed.
You sound surprised.
Not really surprised at Avok, more surprised at Colin. He tends to be relatively difficult to impress. Makes for a great trainer, but can be, let's call it, condescending. Must have taken a liking to you.
Okay, well, if we're gonna be waiting, I think I get what you're trying to ask me. You want me to help train while we wait for everyone else?
Not really. I was simply acknowledging that you helped and he was impressed. It was intended to be a compliment. Are you all right, Avok? You seem on edge.
Just dandy. All right, well, I guess I will go help train while we all wait. And Avok just turns around and walks off.
That was fun. You see Aether kind of look and go, remind me. See that angry the last time I saw him?
No, not Exactly.
Right. Thought something was different. Well, I have training of my own to do. I guess we will meet back here once everyone else arrives.
Yeah, let's hold up. I guess we'll get the reports from the 2 units that are out. Maybe we can do some good around here.
And he fades into the shadows.
Hey, Prince Consort,
Yes?
should I use your name? Like, that's weird to call you that.
Most of my subjects refer to me simply as Prince or Prince Dalian.
Okay, Dalian.
Welcome to call me that, or you can.
I was just thinking that our experience with this whole. This is like deja vu. Like, we just did a resistance thing that we tried to build not that long ago, before we left to come help you guys by accident. And then we did it by you, kind of, sort of.
Well, power vacuums tend to invite new conquerors.
Right, right. And then in doing that, we created a new one that in much bigger. Okay, I guess what I'm trying to say is, can we focus on having like an escape plan to get everybody out of here safely? Because I love that what you're doing with the fortifications, but we've done that before, and it didn't go well. So can we look for alternative second sight kind of thing? Can you send someone out?
Where exactly would you want this to be? I mean, closest continent I'm aware of is Triregnum, and that's, well, normally that would be at least a 2-month voyage on the fastest ship. And there are issues in Triregnum. They're an interesting lot. I'm not sure they could absorb as many refugees as you're describing. We could house a few in the Verdant Empire, but our city is very heavily populated, and those that live on the prime material planes sometimes have issues adjusting to the Feywild. There's space for them, but they have to basically dig out their own city from the wilderness. We could help, but still a very rough road. If we can bring stability back here, we can stay long enough to set up a stable government so we don't have a power vacuum.
Boy, that's some long-term thinking. I don't think we've done that before.
Well,
Maybe that'll stave off some of these fucking problems.
it's possible. I have been dealing with ruling a country for quite a few years. Sometimes I get things right.
How old are you?
See, this summer, 763.
And how long was the Feywild separated? The portal thing?
Roughly 500-600 years.
So are you familiar with this place?
Yes, that's why I know Triregnum.
Holy shit. You ever heard of Domdoro?
Yes, it was a dwarven city, if I remember correctly.
Do you know where any more of those are?
There was a total of 3, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Because we went ahead and destroyed that.
You destroyed a dwarven city?
Well, it was abandoned. Like, they abandoned it a long time ago. And then I tell him the short version of the story.
Yeah.
And then I bring up the giant tentacle monster creature.
So, let me understand this. You found a portal you didn't recognize, activated it,
Yep.
explored a city you'd never seen before,
Yeah.
proceeded to wake up an ancient evil creature,
Not on purpose, but yeah.
and then destroyed the city as you ran away.
Well, no, it destroyed the city. We actually figured out how to turn it on and start to make it float, but apparently it does. Giant evil creature didn't like that, so he had to destroy it like an asshole.
Chaos follows you like a lost puppy, doesn't it?
I'm fucking yes.
Well, see if I remember. Dom Darrell floated quite a few places, but generally in the northeast. There was two more cities. There was Thug Boldir in the east. It was just south of Dom Darrell. And then off the southeastern coast of Kael Isle, there was Dam Gurum.
So I bring that up because those are giant cities, and if they're not populated, that could be a nice place to put people if they have portals that work. And I look up towards the mountainside where our portal is, and maybe that could get us there in a hurry.
Yes, well, the thing about these cities, and probably why the Eladrin sunk the one that you told me about, they're not just cities. They're mobile fortresses.
Fucking Christ. We need to get one of these things airborne, take it over to Corn's Island, and shove it right down these fucking dragons' throats.
If one is still operational, it would be a rather large advantage. A dragon would have a hard time taking one down without significant help.
All
the
right.
issue being, it takes a fair amount of dwarves to pilot it. And I know not of anyone from the Feywild who understands the technology anymore, but if you could find someone that knows the technology here, or could learn it, it would be a very large advantage to us.
God, this is just sidetracking us further. Time is of the essence. All right, I need you to think real long and real hard. I'm a fucking infant compared to you and your people, as are we
Yes,
all.
you're so adorable.
Thanks. I'll talk to you about that later. I give him a wink. And you know about stuff from a long time ago. We got wind that the world is way bigger than just the Kael Isles. Like, everything is changing for us, but you know what it used to be. Do you have contacts? Can you find people that know this technology? Can you contact some dwarves that you used to know a billion years ago, or whatever, or their descendants? I need you doing this.
Well,
We need people working for us everywhere.
the dwarves were cut off when Kael Isles were, but I can send word back through the portal, see any of our scholars, can scour our libraries, see what they can come up with.
That has to happen. We need people working for us. We need everything moving all at once. We can't be doing this one thing at a time.
All right. I'll send message back. It may take at least a few days, but probably by the time the rest of the groups get back, we can have a slightly better plan.
So, Fade had an idea and just fucking blurted it out and made all these huge plans, but he's going to stop and look at Cotton Willow. Is this a bad idea? I think you guys need to tell me when I need to stop. because I kind of just do things. Is this worth pursuing?
I don't know.
I don't know what kind of timeline we're on, and she makes it clear it's not her timeline.
You can probably read just like on my face, like as you say that, like worry, just short.
Yeah. Honestly, it would be super cool. I've never seen a dwarven city before. I would love to go try and figure that out. But I don't know if we have that time.
If they can get someone else to do it, maybe they come in like the cavalry in the 11th inning, even though baseball's not a thing. But we need, we have 2 units out and we were the 3rd. I think we always need to have that much shit happening right now. So I guess
maybe we go find it and set up a way for them to get there and start setting it up, because that could be shorter.
All right, let's think about that. Dalian, I'm
Yes?
intentionally saying his name wrong all the time now. Can you do that? Reach out to your contacts as quickly as you can. Just let's get information first.
Done.
And I guess we'll wait to hear back from Sereda, Death, and Aramis, because everybody needs to be working together now. I don't think we can afford to have people sitting around here waiting. So let's be ready to move when they get back.
Definitely. And he rushes out.
And I look back to Will like, right? You know I'm winging this, right? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing either.
I know.
You're such an idiot.
Thanks, little asshole. I'm done. I got nothing. I'm gonna go find my mom and see if she'll go talk to Avok.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I just want to find somebody who knows magic who might be able to have a book I could copy scrying from, or buy from, something like that.
Oh God.
So you're looking to learn a scrying spell?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's do it this way. You guys have about 3 days of downtime. What kind of things do you want to do on your downtime? To find and learn this scrying spell, that's going to take most of your downtime, Willow.
Okay.
Fade, Kata, Avok.
I got 2. I'll wait.
Kata?
Now that I can turn into a wormling, maybe I can help out with the training as the mini versions of what these guys might be up against.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that. Take inspiration for that.
Haha!
Avok, do you just want to train? Do you want to be alone? What do you want to do?
Oh, I'm trying the fuck out of these guys.
Okay. So with you, Avok, over the next few days, you don't just train them. You push yourself to the absolute limit of your strength as a way to deal with all this anger and everything. And every night you go to bed bruised and weakened, but satisfied, I guess is a word I'm looking for. and you send about a dozen trainees to the medical tent for various broken bones. But overall, you see the group you're working with gets substantially better at basically fighting dirty. They're starting to throw sand in people's eyes, check them with their shoulders and elbows. Every so often, you see biting and eye gouging, becoming relatively deadly in close quarter combat, and you find it more and more difficult to surprise them.
Okay. And how many days was our downtime?
3 days.
Okay, so on the third day, for the last bit of training, I rage up, spikes out, and I tell them all to just come at me, try and kill me.
Okay, make me a strength athletics check.
Okay, that's a 19.
Okay, so as you're sitting there fighting, you are able to kind of hold back enough so you don't kill anyone. But they were not expecting you to sprout spikes. Finally, one of them gets bold enough, and he brings. And I'm assuming you had them using real weapons for this.
Oh yes.
Yep. So he brings his maul out, and he comes to smash it on your head, and you've been kind of training and pushing yourself in a very specific direction. So as you see the maul coming down, you know your axe isn't going to stop it. There's just too much energy coming at you. So instead of blocking it or trying to redirect it, you bring your arms up, and you cross them, and these two large spikes shoot out of them and flatten. And as the maul comes down, it impacts these two large plates and is deflected off, and the maul is buried in the ground about 6 inches up the shaft. As he just sits there looking at you as he's trying to pull his maul out of the earth. And you look, and the large plates you just manifested are cracked from the impact, and you just kind of feel them connected to you, and you just release the connection. They fall and kind of shatter on the ground in front of you. And you now have access to plates of aggressive defense.
Awesome.
Dope.
Kata, you first come over and you ask if you can help train them, and you go to a different group than Avok is helping, and they kind of look at you and they're like, we don't want to hurt a little girl. And as you sit there just looking very innocent, you say, you won't. And as they sit there watching you, your skin starts to get more red, almost as if you're getting angry. And then your teeth become more pointed. You fall forward, and your hands hit the ground. These massive talons sprout out of them. You grow slightly larger, and these red, leathery wings sprout from your back. And as you complete the transformation, you blow fire into the air. And they freak out. After they finish wetting themselves, though, they realize kind of the advantage they have here, having a dragon they can effectively kill without hurting anyone. And so for the next few days, they developed some very specific tactics to deal with breath weapons and flying creatures and that. Willow. It takes you a while to find someone that knows a scrying spell, but you eventually do find another wizard. And you guys sit down and he teaches you, and you pour over his spell book. You start copying the spell into your own, and I believe scrying's a second level spell. So we
I think
wanna,
so.
so it costs you 200 gold worth of supplies, but you do copy it to your spell book. And Fade, what do you do?
Well, first thing, I just wanted to kind of sick my mom on Avok
Oh,
in between his training sessions. Let her try to help him, because Fade is definitely not emotionally equipped to do it. And his mom probably had to deal with an angsty Fade at some point, more than normal. But the thing that I want to kind of work on, like Willow and I have been dabbling with arcane stuff, and the Eladrin here in the Kael Isles, like, other than the Council of One, we're all kind of like baby Eladrins. So I want to talk to these Feywild dudes and develop whatever innate arcane stuff I have. So I just want to focus on my arcane wizardy training stuff.
Okay. You do notice the median age of most of the Eladrin is only about 400. Dalian is a kind of special case of how old he is, and then
Sure.
the Eternal Empress is very old for an Eladrin. Would you find a few people that are willing to help you out as much as they can? They're so used to just using it, and it's been such a part of their lives that they have a hard time kind of understanding where you're coming from, because their Feywild just magic permutes everything. So they help you out a little. Go ahead and roll me a intelligence check.
Sure. Big money, no whammy. 14.
Okay. Working with them, you are able to kind of improve your own natural inborn Eladrin abilities. Your Misty Step ability, does it recharges on a long rest, right?
It's a daily.
Yeah. It now can recharge on a short or long rest
Sweet.
as you get more control over it.
I feel less like an ant next to all these older dudes. That's it.
Okay.
So,
Ava, in between training sessions, Fade's mother does come over and try to strike up a conversation with you.
Yes, Fitz, mother, what would you like?
She kind of looks at you. What's your mother's name again?
Good lord. I have to do 2 clicks.
So what you get for writing a backstory?
Varil.
For real. So she comes over. You may call me Lady Varil or Varil if you like.
Okay, Varil. What's up?
I've been wanting you to train our troops. You're very angry. It's obvious in how you fight and how you deal with others. And it's not just the rage that powers your strikes. Something deeper, isn't it?
Fade sent you.
Yes.
Of course. I don't know what you want me to say.
No? When I lost my husband,
Yeah, sorry about that.
a fire was lit inside me. I destroyed a wing of our house in pure anger. Nothing could fill that void. And then I learned that the ideals he died for were a lie. That my husband wasted his life. Died for nothing. And the anger became even stronger. And I decided someone had to pay for this. So while we were trying to rebuild our city, dealing with our conquerors, I snapped. It was an Eladrin preaching purity, preaching about fighting against these conquerors, redeeming our birthright. I threw him against a wall. The crowd saw what was happening, didn't want to get arrested, so they left. It's just him and I. He brought a torrent of magical energy against me. But he was weak, and I was angry. Didn't even block it, redirect it. He broke my arm, cut me bad enough I lost a lot of blood. I didn't care. Came to him, gripped him. And watched as the life faded from his eyes. As I poured all of my hatred and anger and anguish into him. You know, I don't believe I'll ever forget the screams as long as I live. But I'd done it. Finally been able to release the anger supposed to make me feel better. And it didn't. I thought maybe because I didn't kill the right person. So I got worse and worse. As I kept trying to find the right person, it would make the anger go away. I have no idea what fuels your anger, but I know anger like that. I felt it. I've bathed in it. I've breathed it in, reveled in it. Anger does nothing but poison sins.
Okay. For real. I hate to break it to you, but I have actually been where you were. I had a brother who died at your people's hands. He died for nothing. He was just fodder to you all. And for the longest time, I wanted vengeance. And of course, got sidetracked and got into this whole mess. But let's just say I don't much care for vengeance anymore.
Then why do you cling to this anger like it's wreckage in a storm?
Because this anger has gotten me this far. And hopefully it will get me to the end where all this just is over for me. But before I can do that, I need to deal with the things that treat us all, every mortal being, like we're nothing. Until that is cut out, I will use this anger to keep me going. I appreciate the talk, but I need to continue with my training.
Do what you will. Just understand that anger you cling to will not be satisfied.
I know. It's when I let it go is when I'll be satisfied.
And she gets up. I hope you find what you're looking for. She walks away.
What are you doing, Avok? What are you doing? Alright.
As you're kind of recovering, you hear footsteps behind you. Hi, Evo. It's Colin. Ready for another round of training?
Yep. How many are left?
Hey. More than I was expecting. Come on.
That's a
You-
good sign.
Return to your train.
Yeah.
After 3 days, you guys see Serrated Death return with his troops. Seems to be larger than the group he left with. And you also see Aramis come back. He greets you briefly, but says, well, got a lot to talk about. I'll meet you guys in the war room. Gotta wash off some of this undeath.
Ugh.
And that is where we're going to end it for this week. So thank you so much to everybody that tuned in. Thanks for Zombie Joe for chatting with us during the game. If you missed any of the episode, I do upload all of these to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Trainer Jody. Check out the entire series. We've been playing this game for over 3 years. So, otherwise, that's all for me today. I'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye.